Today on Fish Den 365, we're feeling froggy about this frog. Hey bass fanatics, Den Haring here. Welcome back to Fish Den 365. Part of what we do here on this channel is share with you fishing information, and when it comes to different products, information about those products too. And so today I want to talk to you about a new frog that I've been fishing that I'm really impressed with. It's a Savage Gear product. Again, just before we get into this, I want you to know that I'm not sponsored by anybody in the fishing industry. So when I talk about a product, there's nothing in it for me. I just want you to know that it's a product that I've been using and that I've been having success with and that I enjoy using. So that's one of the things I want to talk about today. It's a frog that probably been out on the market for a little bit, and this is the frog right here. It's a Savage Gear Lily Ninja frog. Now you might remember earlier in the year I did a video where I was throwing the Lily Ninja mouse. This is the same company, Savage Gear. This mouse has caught me some very big 5-6 pound bass. I really enjoy using the mouse. There's a time and a place for the mouse. There's also a time and a place for this frog. So before we get into talking about the frog a little bit, let me talk to you about the frog rod and the frog reel that we're using. So I found a new rod that I really enjoy using for frog fishing. In the past, I had some trouble. I would be able to set the hook on my frog fish, but sometimes they would bury down into the weeds or pads on me and I wasn't able to get them out, and then they'd wedge into a pad stem and I'd lose the fish. And that was primarily because I wasn't fishing with a heavy enough stick, a heavy enough rod. So I found this rod. This is made by Dobbins. This is their Fury series. So I think this rod is somewhere between $100 and $120 in that price range. But it's a fantastic rod for that price. It's very light, very sensitive, and very strong. This one is a FR704C. It's a 7-foot rod, and it's heavy, fast action. So it's got a fast tip, but it's a heavy rod. It's got a lot of backbone for pulling those fish out of the pads and out of the weeds. And that fast tip allows you to make very long casts with frog-type baits. This one actually says Texas rigs, jigs, Carolina rigs, spinner baits, and horny toads. Horny toad is as you know, we've done videos on that. That is another frog type application where you're throwing a toad out there that has swimming legs in the same kind of cover. So I've just found this to be a very good frog rod, and right away when I started fishing it, I realized how good it was. I want to get a second one because I want to have a frog rod and a horny toad rod ready to go, both, because sometimes there's times and places to throw the frog, and then other times it's times and places to throw the toad, and this rod will do very well for both. I just know that it will. Now the reel that I'm using is a Bass Pro Shops Carbon Light 2.0, I believe. I think this is Carbon Light 2.0. I believe it's a high gear ratio. I think 7.3 to 1, something like that. I want that high gear ratio so that I can quickly pick up line and get those bass into me. And I found that this reel, for the price, is very nice. I can throw this thing a country mile on this rod and reel, and I want to duplicate the exact rod and the exact reel for a toad rod and toad outfit. So I'll be doing that in the near future. Let's get into a little bit about this frog and why I like it. So the first thing that attracted me to this was the price. It was $5 at Dick's Sporting Goods, $4.99. And when I looked at it, I thought, geez, it's got all the right attributes. It's got this nice keel. When I actually bought one, and it's very, very soft. So you have that soft, and we'll explain why that's important. The other thing is, just like the Ninja Lily mouse, the hooks right out of the package are extremely sharp. I cannot get that hook across my thumbnail. It's just incredibly sharp right out of the package, and they're good quality hooks. They're stout, and they lay on the frog very well. And then, like I was saying, this is very important to have this material be very soft so that when a bass eats it, it compresses down and exposes those hook points. And it's very, very soft material. So they've got a lot of the things right in the design of this frog, but instead of paying $15 or $12, you pay $5 for it. Now, it does have a keel, but if you want to walk the dog with this, this is not the frog for that. You can walk the dog with this frog, but it doesn't do it as easily as a lot of other frogs that I'm familiar with and that I know how to fish. So it's not the best frog for walking the dog, but what it is very good for is popping up and down like this. So that head, when you work your rod and you retrieve, this head is doing this. It's slapping the water. So it comes up and slaps, slap, slap, slap. And that really attracts a lot of attention. And it works very well in thick cover. So you have thick, heavy matted milfoil, it's doing that. And because the frog has a little more wider profile, it's a better choice than the mouse, for example, for that kind of application. And so it has very good action that way. And I also like to use it on the edge of cover, on the edge of thick matted vegetation, or on the edge of pads, where I'll actually throw it into the vegetation, work it out, and then work it right to the edge, and then maybe just do 2 slaps and then let it sit there, and then slap, slap, slap. And then that's oftentimes when a fish will smash it. So it's been working well for me. I really enjoy using it. I'm going to be buying quite a bit more. I noticed now they have a Ninja Lily popping frog with a popper surface, so I'll have to check that out. And when I do, I'll probably make a video on that and let you know what I think, if it's good or not. Now, the bait does come with longer tails. I cut these a little shorter just because I wanted a smaller profile for the fishing that I was doing. I didn't want those legs being out. I didn't want the bass to just grab the legs and not get the frog and not get the hooks. The frog sits with a very good attitude in the water. What I mean by that is the angle that it sits in. You want a frog to sit somewhat with the back end more in the water, so that if a fish does just come up and suck it in, they're getting those hooks right away. And this frog sits very nicely that way. So like I said, I'm throwing it on this Dobbins Fury rod, the Carbon Light Bass Pro Shops reel, and I have 50-pound braid here, and I just use dark green braid. If this starts to get faded, then I just paint it. I just use a marker, and either a black marker or a dark green marker, and I just make sure that it's very dark. I want direct braid to this frog because of where I'm throwing it in very heavy cover. And so recently we took it out on the water, and you know, in the past I talked about liking this Ninja Lily mouse where there are lily pads that you can get into the crevices between pads, because it's a narrower bait, so it kind of fits in those crevices easier. But in this last application where I was, and we're going to show you this in a few minutes, the pads were so thick there were no crevices. You actually had to force the frog into the water between the pads somehow, just by letting it drop in there or working it through. The pad field is so thick in the video, you'll wonder if I can possibly even catch a fish out of it, but we do. So it's worth seeing that video and seeing how I get the fish out of there. So let's take this thing to the water and see if it really does work. Folks. He's on there. Come here, buddy. There he is. Had to work for him. I got him. Well, that's proof that the frog works. Nice bass. I had to tow him out of there big time. What you can get out here. The frog's all messed up. I have to fix my frog, but at least we got one here. The pads, he blew up. It works. Put him back. See you later, buddy. Whew, that was. Frog working again here. There we go. Well, as you can see in the video, I went down on a Wednesday night to Lake Onalani to just test the frog. I had about an hour and a half to test this thing, and I was a little bit shocked when I got to my spot because the pads were so thick. It's been about a month since I've been there, and they really thickened up since then. And so there really wasn't a whole lot of water to throw the frog in. It was all pads out there. But I was able to find a few holes in the pads. I had 3 fish blow up on it. In some of those cases, the frog never even was in the water. It was on the pad, but the fish sensed it and would blow up on the pad. And didn't have a chance to really get the frog in her mouth. But then finally, I got that frog in some water between the pads, and you can see out in the video where the bass comes up, grabs it, and I set the hook and get him. And then it was just a matter of using the right equipment, the rod and reel, to get that thing to meet, to get the bass to the bank very quickly through all that thick vegetation. Well, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, smash that subscribe button too, and remember to hit that bell. That'll give you notifications for when the next video is coming out. If you haven't subscribed yet and you've been watching my videos, please subscribe. It's you know, if you're liking the videos, that means it's helping you out, and it helps me out if you subscribe. So I appreciate your subscribing, and I appreciate you watching the videos. We're certified Bassified. We'll see you on the water, and may God bless your fishing endeavors.